Raid alert. Hey, Sapphire. And gang. You managed to raid directly into ads. How's it going? How's the stream? We'll get started in a minute here. Oh, I see you brought a Nanigans with you. Hello and welcome to Party Wipe, episode 15. I'm going to switch to our cozy co-working radio here, and we're going to get started. We are building a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. It's Saturday. No, it's Friday. It's Friday. I did all my Saturday things this morning because it's a holiday for me. I know what day it is. But yeah, we're going to do some work. Hey, David. How's it going over on YouTube? Thanks for holding it down over there. Hello, everyone else on Twitch. Sapphire, thank you for the raid. Dried Jungle, good to see you with the 3 stream streak. Killing it. Are we going to code or work on more cards today? We're probably going to do both. I want to wrap up a lot of the UI stuff. The true wrap-up day is going to be tomorrow, which I will not stream because I'm going to be at my monthly in-person Godot engine meetup that we do out here. Hang out for like 4 or 5 hours. I am going to hopefully wrap up a lot of the UI stuff there. And maybe next week we can come back and we can work on the turn-based tile battle map stuff. And then we can hook the 2 together and we'll have a game. It'll be crazy. Yeah, I left a couple of notes for myself yesterday at the end of my late night work session off stream. The 2 notes I left for myself was remove equip card suitedness, ? And static abilities in Terabang. So we're going to reckon with the fallout from those 2 potential decisions. And we're going to finish up all the starter pack cards. So what is suitedness? I should just give Godot a second. The initial startup time for this project is so much worse than any other project I've ever had. I think it's the plugin and all of its tool scripts. Oh man, what were you hoping for, Dried Jungle? Did you want me to say we were gonna do neither? What were you hoping we would be working on today? I'll take it into consideration. Sapphire, you're glad you could finally raid me? I know, that's awesome. Appreciate it. How was your stream? Probably have to do a raid and run, no worries. No, you've been busy. I'm sure. Did you upgrade to 4.7, David? Not yet. We have one big plugin we use, which is the Simple Cards plugin, and I don't see how 4.7 could interfere with it, but I also don't want to just barge into it and potentially have an issue. So I'm gonna wait. I'll play around with it. We'll try and upgrade soon. I'll see if they update the repository, or I might even just try to update it and then roll it back if it doesn't work. So I fixed a lot of stuff last night, so we can play our night card. We can now play an item. The UI for selecting and deselecting the item works. I haven't provided any of the passive or active effects or things like the value of the items. But we've got like our cracked shield. So we could either play another cracked shield, and the UI works now consistently like the character sheet does. It previews the XP gain and the potential level gain. So we can play another cracked shield, becomes a level 2. It's reflected in the character sheet. We can obviously do the same thing for our knight. Actually, what happens if this is open and I do that? Anything? No, cool, that's fine. We can also play a new item into our main hand. And there was a bug yesterday, but I fixed it, so now we can also then just replace our main hand weapon. Bop. And so now we got weapons. There are also exclusive buttons. So that part is handled. So we're looking good. We're looking good. In terms of having items, having character cards, stuff we can play. Draw some more cards. We could level up my spear, or I could replace it with like a sword, and then I could level up that sword. And whenever you replace an item, it gets discarded. So there's the spear we just discarded. I don't know if I want the discard pile somewhere else or something. I have to think about that. But let's get back to the question at hand, which is suitedness. No stream tomorrow. Oh, that's what you were about. Okay. Sorry. The contextual timing of when people make statements is very much lost on a streamer sometimes. Sapphire, your stream went all right today? You got to start on voxel and learning how this voxel systems work. Very unoptimized, but we'll be getting better. You're going to go through some notes on a YouTube video. Nice, nice, nice. Voxel stuff is fun. Voxel stuff is fun. Ship it. Hey, Mr. Magoo, subscribing for 10 months on a 10-month streak. Thank you so much, Magoo. You are so close to your platinum sub badge. Doing great. So you just had one random weird issue with the plugin. Yeah, that's what I want to avoid, LSG, so I'm just going to give it a minute. There's no killer features I'm waiting on for 4.7. It's not like 4.3, where it was like, here's tile map layers, and you're like, well, shit, I need those. I haven't had that reaction to 4.7, so I would like to get there, but it's not absolutely urgent. You have 3 green screens, Magoo? Is it professional Zoom meetinger? That is impressive. I just have 1. Sapphire, you've ordered a camera and a green screen. Nice, nice. Very nice. All right, so what is suitedness? I wrote a note for myself. Remove, equip cards, suitedness. I wrote it on invisible paper. That's incredible I can read it at all. But yeah, if we look at this, remove equip card suitedness, and then static abilities. Static abilities is interesting. Static abilities is an interesting idea. It would bring our ability concept much closer in line to spell slots. So static abilities would mean your level 2 knight, all level 2 knights have the same ability. And then all level 3 knights have that ability and another ability, etc., up to level 6, where they have 5 abilities. That's interesting because then the abilities could actually have power curves to them. Whereas if we go over to the character sheet and you've just got your 5 abilities and it can be any number, and then the utility of being higher level is just that you get more variety and flexibility, which you would get anyway with this other system. But this other system, we could actually very consciously design each character to have an arc of abilities. Because I'm having some problems with the ability slots. Conceptually, otherwise. Especially with this remove suitedness idea. Because if we remove suitedness, ability suitedness is confusing. You upgrade even if you don't use the new features. That's typically my attitude, David, but this project is on such a tight timeline that I'm trying to avoid any possible side effects. There's some cool stuff in this one that I do want. I do want that shader preview, that shader step preview thing. That's really neat. I want the control transform offset thing. That's pretty neat. There's probably some other quality of life stuff in there that I would enjoy, but didn't really catch my eye. What is AOA TLG, Magoo? Gotta go. No worries, Sapphire. Appreciate you. Tried. You gotta love when you write something then forget what it means. I didn't forget what it meant, but yeah, that does happen. I don't do things like keep a notepad by my bed. I know people who do. Wake up and have ideas. I usually just get to the end of the night and I'm like, I have an idea and I cannot keep working on it or it'll be 2 o'clock before I'm done. So I just write it down. And yeah, there is some context that I lost, but I think it's also good to wait and think about it and sit on an idea like this. Because I literally got to sleep on it, right? That's nice. And I think it's the right call. So what is suitedness? Suitedness is the fact that this is a knight card and it has this little knight icon here. And you're like, well, why does it have an extra icon? It's because this is the card icon and this is the knight icon. The knight is the suit. It also happens to be the card in this example. However, if instead, so you'll look here and you'll see like, here's a rusted sword. You'll see the little knight. Here's a chipped maul. You'll see the little knight. You know, a cracked shield. And like, originally my idea was, let's give everything a suit. because it makes you be more purposeful about card stuff. But then I was working through last night. So we did some of the night starter items. We implemented those. Did we actually implement the armor cards? We did, huh? Interesting. Waiting for Obsidian to open here. There we go. So last night I came up with 8 or 9. It's only 8 here. I need to think of one more weapon for the wizard. Or something. I came up with 9 starter cards, but you'll notice a lot of them are similar. Like a bard has patched boots, patched gloves, and I wrote a patched shirt. I might change my mind about that, but and a ranger also has patched boots and patched gloves, and the wizard also has. Well, the wizard has frayed gloves. They might actually have frayed shoes or something like that. Slippers would be pretty funny if the wizard only had slippers. Frayed slippers. I've started coming up with a term that corresponds to a material and also is a diminutive. So we've got like cracked for wood, frayed for cloth, patched for leather, and rusted for metal. So I've got something consistent, which is nice. Maybe it should be rusted arrow, not cracked arrow. Cracked arrow would be basically useless, wouldn't it? I mean, technically a cracked bow would be useless too, but let's not get bogged down. But anyway, I was like, these are feeling very generic, which is fine. They're starter equipment, but I'm like, suitedness does not suit these. I mean, there's some exceptions, like maybe a chipped orb. But like, I wanted to give the bard access to a sword, and I also wanted to give the knight access to a sword. Because I wanted enough representatives of slashing damage. And there's really only a few. I might actually change it so that there's a rusted axe, maybe, for the knight. And a sword for the... But yeah, it was really the armor slots where I was like, suitedness does not suit this. And for the weapons, it makes sense too. You always try to delay big decisions and pivots by 1 sleep. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Those are solid qualifiers. They're brittle qualifiers. Yes, in fact, they are. They, in fact, are. I want one more weapon for the wizard. What would that be? I could give them a dagger, I guess. Oh, not where I wanted to go. But yeah, I like the idea of removing the suits because there's a practical application too, which is there is not enough room on the cards. There's not enough room. We're pushing too hard. And so I think what we're going to do is we are going to remove some pieces from the cards. I think we're going to remove suitedness. Because then there's a lot more room. So we can, like, get rid of these. I'll have to redo the portrait a little bit. Oh, I can't get rid of both of those. But we could get rid of the icon, and then the text has a lot more breathing room. And we can do things that are slightly longer. Like, we could have a claymore. Because I actually really want all the weapon names to be one line. So that I can give them a qualifier. I think it's important that it's qualifier and then thing. And there just isn't enough room to do that in every case. So we're going to work on that.
It's about tending to the broken parts inside of ourselves.
So we look at weapons. What else do we have here? Could potentially give
our perception of self
to the wizard. You give them a club.
This all comes from
I don't really like the distinction between a club and a staff. Well, I guess the idea is the staff is like two-handed, maybe. I don't know.
Like water.
The club is good. I really don't like the club drawing. Actually, I don't know what this is supposed to be, if I'm being honest. So we gave them a wand, a staff, and an orb. What else are we going to give a wizard? I guess it's really just dagger, huh? I think it'd be funny to give a wizard a dagger, because that's a really high-risk weapon to give a wizard. Because that implies that they're, like, getting up in it, and they are like, the least defensible character in the group. Yeah, maybe. Why not? Why not give him a little dagger? As an option. The Gandalf thing to do would be to give them a sword, but I always thought it was OP. I always thought, I'm going to come out and say it, I feel like Gandalf is a bit OP. Gandalf has always seemed like more of a sorcerer anyway than a wizard, if we're being real. Will the Steam game have workshop for mods? Certainly not at first. Certainly not at first. That would be a thing that we introduce because the game has had a lot of success, and I have months of runway and a compelling reason to do it. But yeah, definitely not in the plans right now. All right, we'll make a dagger. All right, okay, so we're getting rid of the concept of suitedness. We're going to need to update a lot of things to deal with that. So all cards are going to be common cards. And then we'll probably change our idea of ability cards. Ability cards are probably going to be something special. Actually, no, there won't be ability cards, will there? The ability slots will be locked and unlocked. Okay. All right. This is a pretty big change, but let's do it. Let's do it. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. We just got to do it. So the first thing to do is to update the base card layout. To remove these icons. We're going to say header name, footer name. All right, we got to remove this icon from the cards. We got to rebalance this. Oh yeah, I have a hard stop today. I say in the most corporate way possible. I'm not going to delete these. I'm just going to hide them. Base card front, level. Let's go. Let's do it the correct way. Let's do it in order. That was a struggle. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing this fine Friday? Let's make sure we do this right. All right, so what I think we want to do, though, I think we want to left align these. Which does mean moving them in a bit. Top align this way as well. Have a little more control. That's probably what I want. Something like that. Maybe this. Oop. 66 by 32. That seems fine. Same thing over here. What? How? Huh? It's giving me like less than... It's giving me like very fine control over this. Very weird. Yeah, why are we going sub-pixel on this? Very strange choice right there. Do I want center vertical alignment? Maybe. Nah. We want this is a lot of this is about readability. This is all right, I think. Only thing we could maybe do is go a little thinner. Get a little more. Why does this one insist on being just like totally freeform? Oh, it's probably the rotation. It's probably what's happening there. That's annoying, Nanigans. Time to write your own system, I guess. Yeah, this is a little bare. I might do vertical centering. Yeah, that looks bare in a different way. I think we'll just accept. Sometimes this will be useful, like for this. Could always give people longer names. Like instead of the knight, we could have the knight errant or something like that. We'll change. We'll decide if we want to do something like that. Code with quirk looks good. For the spacing, our double line names titles a potential issue. For spacing, our double line names title. No. Yes. Yes, and we are addressing it. Yeah, we actually want double line names. Did I modify the spacing? That is a good reminder. I don't think I modified the spacing. No, not for this card. For some other cards, I think I may have modified the spacing. So now there's an equivalent amount of space here as there is here, I think. I think it's close. I think it's close. It might not be that close. We got to keep that in mind. What's the spacing on the equipment page? But welcome in. How's it going? No, it's good. It's good. We are of one mind. Where's the equipment page? How's it going? Welcome in. We're working on a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. So our cards are all nouns. Okay, so this is 76 wide. I think that's close to what this is. 76 exact. Perfect. Perfect. So if it looks... It's a little tight vertically. I might do something about the active and passive buttons. I'm not super happy with them, but we will see. Okay, so this is going to be painful. It's going to be a painful change because a lot of stuff thinks that cards are suited, and a lot of our systems will not work. Header icon, get rid of that. Footer icon, get rid of that. Card suit icons, we can just get rid of that whole thing. I want to rename this, but I think it'll totally change if I do. So I'm not going to change it. Okay. So there's like a million other places where we consider... So what I'm going to do, and this is probably the worst way to do it, so I'm just going to get rid of the suit enum. I'm going to get rid of the export value. So now there's just the icon, the level, and the name for the card. These are the core card characteristics. Very cool. It's a single playthrough like a Starfleet deck builder. You tell me what this Starfleet deck builder is. I've never heard of such a thing. Or ongoing adventures. How often do you draft a party? It's for each run. It's for each run. So, well, you pick some starting characters, and then you are drafting the party. You're drafting cards for the party throughout the run. Think like Slay the Spire meets, like, Into the Breach, which is a crazy mashup. It's not as complicated, but I don't know of a better way to say it via X meets Y. It's a roguelike, so it's run-based. And so you can pick some starting characters, and those are your characters. That's your party. And you'll have a starter pack, but then you can open booster packs as you go along, and you'll get cards for winning conflicts. You have to choose which direction you're going. Every card used to have a suit attached to it, meaning each card was associated with a particular character. I'm removing that concept for a number of reasons, and I am dealing with the fallout of having done that, which is significant. But yeah, here. No, I can't run it. I was like, here, let me run it. Well, it's like, wait. Starfleet was supposed to be Star Realms. I haven't heard of that either. Star Realms deck building game. Well, Google knows about it. This looks interesting. Is this a physical card game? It looks like it. It looks beautiful. Yeah, I don't know how close or not close it is to this because I've never played this, but I am going to be playing some card games, some board games today with some friends. If I see it, I might grab it and give it a try. We might also play the Slay the Spire board game. I'm kind of interested in that. All right, so what's our problems? Our problems is we've removed... Well, our problem is that Godot doesn't actually give me errors. Because I've removed a reference to a really important concept. And the code doesn't really understand that yet. So who would really care and or know about that? I guess let's just go through the list of scripts. See who has opinions. The individual cards I made need to be redone. That's easy. Actually, they might have just lost the characteristic. They did. Oh, we got a spam bot. Get ready. We're going to blast him. In 3, 2, 1. That was fun. All right, suitedness. The people who most care about suitedness are going to be the party roster and the party mat. Actually, the party mat doesn't know anything. And in fact, the party mat concept is going to die. I'm going to replace that with a play mat that covers the whole board. I just wanted to wait until we had, I had the battle map set up. Or what I might even do instead is have 2 play mats that work slightly differently. Have to see. I'd rather have 1. Now that I'm thinking about it. You're gonna go stream now? Have a good stream. Take it easy, Jungle. Have a good weekend. All right, card suit is no longer a concept. And now the system is like, okay. Could not resolve unit roster. Tabs by suit. Oh, so this needs to become something else. It'll be like unit roster, tabs by suit. Let's look at what that is. Roster tab, unit roster, roster mats, roster tab. So tabs by suit is a concept that exclusively exists for the party roster. What we can do is we can instead have a unit tabs dictionary. Or rostered units or something. It's going to become just an array. Everyone is going to be so upset about this for so long. This is how you fix things. Characters by suit. So yeah, we don't have that either. Here we can say, so we have roster tabs. We can have party characters. I might change selected to like active. Doesn't matter. So for suit in tabs by suit dot level set. Level set. card suit. So roster tab does not know its suit anymore. That's fine. That's not a concept anymore. We had an idea. I had an idea earlier about using the tabs, the character tabs, as like HP bars. I gotta remember how I'm gonna do that. I think I could do it with like a control thing. I think there's some kind of control node that's like it's like a color rect. I could do a color rect. I'll probably do a sprite sheet instead. Just because of the rounded corners of the tab, it's going to be hard to do it with just a straight color rect. Yeah, it'll be cool. The roster will like fill up, or it'll deplete as they lose health. All right, so we don't know about character suits. We have this level set function for the tab. So the tab just looks at setup card res, card level. Okay, so this will only... We actually don't want to... We want like an update display thing is what we want. So that we can update more than just the level. We can update things like the health and stuff. But we're not going to do that now. Because that's not important right now. So instead we'll say for tab, roster tab, in roster tabs. I can't say roster. Oh, I can say tab. So for tab in roster tabs, tab dot level set. Oh shit, how do we know who's where? I guess it would be the same, huh? Yeah, okay. Let's put them by name. Let's have them be by name. That should be good. I don't want to have to keep multiple arrays like all synchronized and stuff. Texture progress bar. Is that what it's called? I still don't think that'll work because we need it to be... One, we need it to be pixel perfect, and that was the reason why we stopped using like the panel, the UI panel, which was your idea. Oh, not your idea. It was Nanigan's idea. But yeah, I think texture progress bar is cool. I used it in Bare Necessities and I hated it because it doesn't obey the same rules as the viewport does, it seems. Or I don't know, it's weird. It's weird because it's being moderated by the UI stuff. I didn't like it. It felt disjointed with the underlying pixel art. Because it wasn't these discrete pixel jumps that were in line with the resolution. It was like really subtle flickering. Like it would flicker because it would try to round to the nearest thing or something, and it would just be like, it was horrible. What was your idea? Well, we're just you know, hand drawing the UI elements, which is nice, but it means we can't use things like the texture progress bar because it'll look weird and disjointed. So you gave us more work, but it does look good. It does look good. But it's your fault. It's your fault we have to do this. All right, for tab, roster tab, in roster tabs. Dot values, right? Let's say for name, string name, in roster tabs, in character, party characters. We'll say for a character name in party cares. So I think when you iterate a dictionary, you're iterating the keys by default. I could switch to the values, but we're going to do this. Just say roster tabs character name dot level set via party cares character name dot level value. We're gonna need to rework that. But we're just trying to fix the fact that character card suits don't exist anymore. Your compost bucket just broke. Ooh. That's not fun. You figured it would be pixel perfect since it supports sprites. It probably just stretches, and we'll try it. We'll try it. We'll try it. I might have used progress bar and not texture progress bar or something. If those are separate things. Yeah, I used progress bar and hated it. So maybe texture progress bar is better. I still think it might look weird because it's gonna like squash the corners, probably. That might look bad, but I'm willing to try it. Okay, if it supports proper 9-patch scaling, it might be okay. Hey Remus, how's it going? If card is a base card suit and has no suit, forget it. That's easy. Okay, if not, characters by suit has card suit, so that's not useful. What we'll do instead, if not party characters has... When we ask has, we're searching for the key. Yeah, duh. We'll say card res.card. Well, card name. Party tab is roster tab. So hold on a second. Oh, this is for mat drop, so the party tab will already exist. So we'll say roster tabs card res dot card name. How's it going, Remus? Happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday, everyone. So if the card is a hero card, if the card is a hero card, and if we don't currently have that hero card, what the hell is this? This feels like it's at the wrong indentation level. This is confusing. I'm not going to change this because that's confusing. We're just trying to fix these errors. We'll go back. We'll go back to that. So there's a lot of stuff we can't do if we get rid of the card suit. Like, we can't just automatically open a card because we aren't going to know. If you have an equipment card, we aren't going to know where that equipment card should go. So we can't just, like, open a card. Which is unfortunate. We can highlight maybe the tabs of the characters that could wield. And then maybe if you bring your mouse over there, we can open up the tab. That could be fine. Thank Godot, it's sunny for now. Finally got to mow the lawn. It sounds like that's what you were doing because you were talking about your compost bucket. I'm going to say this. I am never going to mow a lawn ever again in my life. I have bad allergies. That's... I would much rather have a nice moss I could walk over. You grew out of your grass allergy, weirdly? That's nice. That's very nice. All right, if card suit is not equal to selected character.card suit, well, here we just say card res.card name. So we're using card name. Oh, that's the thing. I want to change card name to be a string name, I think, since they should be unique. Let me go look for the base card resource. Let's make this a string name. That seems better. Selected character.card name. Do you know all of these things? Card name isn't like some random display you have, right? Selected character. Card name. Yeah, card name is a label. Fuck. Okay. Oh, character name is a label. Where's card name? Card suit. We need to store the card name. We need to know that. That's an important thing to know. Well, we know the character res. I guess we could ask the character res, that card name. Who is that? Who goes there? Is that Fusion? Fusionist? What have you been fusing lately? You want to replace your lawn with clover someday? Wouldn't that be nice? I would love to have a bit of land with like a place to ramble around. Go on. I would love to ambulate. I was born to just putter about. Born to putter, forced to work. Doing some groundwork for game code overall, essentially implementing a Godot-ish, ECS-ish system. It's a lot of ishes. No, that's cool. I take that to mostly just mean it's like a very composition-heavy approach to things. Because Godot is very consciously like not ECS, but I get it. I think that's the best way to implement ECS is to not really do the whole thing. Just do what the part of it that you need. Do it the way that you need it to work. That's what I learned from doing my ECS is don't try to do the whole thing unless you're literally making a game engine. Tabs by suit. This has been renamed as roster tabs. We made a pretty big change and we're doing a refactor today. That's what we're doing. We removed the idea of like card suits to the cards, which would be like our equivalent of like diamonds and hearts and stuff, except like diamonds and hearts and clubs and spades. But instead of diamonds and hearts and clubs and spades, it was going to be the actual characters. And I thought that was kind of neat, but for a number of reasons, that's not going to work, I don't think. LF card res is equip card resource. If selected character. If there is a selected character, we close it. So this part can't really happen. So we're not going to just automatically open the character sheet very much anymore. The hell is card suit? So this branch of code doesn't make sense anymore. This part doesn't make sense anymore either. Do I want to... Oh, do I want to... I actually don't know if I want to do this. So that's actually kind of annoying. I'm just going to get rid of this whole branch. I can see that being really annoying. We need a more sophisticated thing here. We need something here that can like tell if the character can even equip a certain item. But for now, what's going to happen then if no suits? It'll just be common. Hey, Vita Mortes. My notes from last night were to remove equip card suitedness and to make the abilities static. So that's what we're working on. Yeah, that sounds cool, Fusionist. I'd be interested to see what you kind of come up with for your ECS-ish. What's going to happen then if no suits? Okay, so I came up with some starter cards. I'm going to rename this starter cards, not starter packs. And so here's some like starter cards for each character. Like for the Bard, we'll have like the cracked fiddle, a cracked lute, some frayed cape and hat, some patched boots, gloves, shirt. The qualifier is supposed to communicate quality as well as material for some. Not for all, but for at least these starter items, we want a lot of diminutive. And we got like rusted rapier, rusted sword. So I came up with all of these, and the problem was, while some of them did look very character specific, like the knight's the only starting character that can use heavy armor. So like they're the only ones wearing this like rusted gear. But like a lot of the equipment is shared. So like a knight should be able to carry a rusted sword. Maybe not a rapier, but at least a sword. And like a ranger should probably be able to carry like an axe or a sword. They have their own weapons like a glaive or whatever. And, you know, maybe not everyone can carry a bow. So it was really the armor that set me in this direction, where it was like, it doesn't really make sense to have 4 different sets of patched boots or whatever, and like, or 3 sets or something. I still might give the wizard slippers, or something like that. So it really didn't make sense to have like, oh, I've got a set of boots that only fit the bard but not the ranger, and so I was like, And we were also running up into a class layout issue where there wasn't enough room with the icon to fit everything. So we made an executive decision. Actually, I need to look at the roster tabs. I need to make sure the roster tabs have the same amount of room. You can definitely post some screenshot explanation in the Discord later. It's closer to the Godot composition system. The idea is to be able to subdivide logic game data into nodes of arbitrary scope like Godot does. That's neat. That's neat. You're not using resources for data. I'm not blaming you. Resources are sketchy sometimes, but composing your data into nodes is an interesting idea. This is very wrong. What is this? What's up with this card? It should be this card. All right, we're heading into ads. Oh, we're already there. You're back now. I was curious about using nodes to store game data, but I guess that makes sense if you're storing live data and not like pre-baked, like not like pre-existing. Like here's a resource, because that's kind of what I do here too with the characters and the equipment. Each card has a resource associated with it, which is static, but like the characters can level up and like have things affect them and stuff. So as soon as like a piece of data is live, in that a card has been played and exists on the board, I do create a separate node which holds the live data, which can change from the stored resource data. So I was just like, oh, why would you store the data as a node? And then I realized I literally do that. So that's not that weird. So yeah, that sounds cool. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how you architected it. Because I always love I don't like having one static system that I use for everything. I always kind of tailor whatever I make to the thing that I'm trying to make, which I think is good. But it does mean I need to envision in my head very quickly how to do that. And I think there are certain common patterns that are good. So I'd be interested in hearing your pattern for what you're doing. What am I trying to open? I don't even remember. The roster tabs. I want to see what the size for the name is. I want to make sure there's enough room. I don't think there is enough room. We want at least 76. And how much is left here at the end for the level thing? 24. That should be fine. Let's open up the tabs. Oh, no, this is a party roster tab. Party roster tab. I don't know. I see why I named it that way. So I think we might stack these or something. So here's this. I want to be back by 24. This is back by 24. It's not great. I don't love this, but I think this is what we gotta do. I think we're gonna do something like this. Although your alignment maybe should be to the right. Oh my glob, are we being raided? Dry jungle. That was fast. How was the stream? What size is this? 74. I don't want 76. Yeah, we're gonna do that. This is better because this is more consistent, because now the name box always has 76 pixels wide to play with, which is in line with the amount of room that we have everywhere else. Hey, Raider. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's live data, like asset instances and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, there's no point in generalizing, which is why there's no point in making an ECS, a complete ECS, unless you're building a game engine. Unless you don't know how the end user is going to use it, right? Which is your typical game engine situation, where you're like, you're making a product for other people to use. If you're making a game, it's like, just have a static number of components, component types, tell the thing ahead of time what those component types are. It's like, you could have dynamic components, in that like you can establish new component types at runtime, but it's like that's only really useful if you're obsessed with the idea of creating like entity relationships. As like a first party, as like a first class concept in the ECS, which is cool. Flex does that, and I would encourage anyone who wants to make an ECS to go look at Flex, FLECS. Which I think you can bind to the Godot on the C# side through with like a GD extension or something. So it's like, if you really need an entity, a full-blooded entity component system, just incorporate Flex. Don't make your own. But yeah, no, you almost never need it. The first step to making an entity component system is to acknowledge that you don't need it. Only then may you proceed. All right. So I did some things. We still have a pile of errors here. Hey, Rob. How's it going? How are you doing, Dry Jungle? LSG, you were making coffee, then your compost bucket breaking distracted you. Finally got around to it. Yeah, hopefully you weren't just partway through making the coffee. That's always the worst part. Is party tab not a word we use? Party tab. It should be. No, it doesn't need to be. Party tab. I always reach some threshold where I'm like, I'm going to make a variable for this. All right. So on mat exited, if the card res is an equip card resource, this doesn't make a lot of sense. What's going on here? We just got to update the display, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, on tab pressed. Party characters. Card. Okay, you don't have a card name. Party tab dot card res. Card name. Oh yeah, your card name is a label. I should change this. I'll do it later. Oh good. Oh god. Well yeah, coffee should happen then. All right. I think we're getting close to being done with. I think we got all the errors out of the party roster. Now we got to go into the character sheet. And the character sheet does not utilize the concept very much. Interesting. Character suit dot text. Character name. Oh, you know, that is annoying, but that's fine. I'm not going to actually change that. All right, who else? Who else? Equip cards, probably. Or equip pages. Equip pages probably have this concept somewhere. Maybe not. There's some other aspects that are going to cause us pain with this. I don't know what they are, but we'll figure it out. I do want to change some of the textures. Boots. Curious brown. We're gonna add the concepts. We're gonna add the qualifiers back to these Atlas textures. Just to help me organize them a bit better. Gloves, patched. Helm, patched. Is helm not the best word to use for like a leather cap or a leather head piece of head armor? It's probably better. List of medieval armor components. Oh, that's a nice list. I love a good list. Coif. Head, neck, and sometimes the shoulders. So there's been a coif and a cowl. Coif is good. I like this list. I'll let you know I love a good list. Arneo, you were supposed to dev, and then suddenly you had to slay the Spire. Oh no. The Spire does need slaying. I've very purposely avoided playing the second one. I will play it when it leaves early access or whatever. I have time. These are all metal. Would have loved a little bit more leather armor descriptions. I want headgear terms. Helm is just really short. I could just use a longer word. It's like drinking. You don't slay the Spire alone, so it doesn't get out of hand. Oh yeah, it's co-op now, huh? It's cool. All right, so this is the wrong glove. So I want like this one. No, not this one. This one. Yeah. I'm going to say helm, rusted. And in fact, all of these are going to be the rusted variations. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Oh, can I fit the word gauntlets now, finally? That would be a happy day. Now that I've lengthened the room in the card. That was like one of the first casualties. I was like, we can't use the word gauntlet. Gauntlets. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, I'm very happy. I was getting sick of calling everything gloves. So all of our knight, or not our knight cards, but these armor cards should look right now. These are rusted boots. All right, so we can afford some longer words now, so. I like frayed for cloth, but we can maybe use tattered. Yeah, we can use tattered. I don't like tattered is a little harsh, I feel. We'll see. You can do epaulettes and sabaton. I just thought of the word sabaton. Chest plate. Chest plate's a little long, but we can fit it. I like cuirass. And it was originally leather, so I can have cuirass that are I can have patched cuirass, but I can also have rusted cuirass. And we'll have different icons, so it'll be super clear. Trying to remember what the little cloth poncho thing is typically called. Are you thinking of like a tabard? Yeah. Nanigans, you fixed your issue. If you import an image and Godot detects and treats it as a normal map, you need the normal roughness hint in shaders. If it doesn't, you need to not have that hint. Okay, so if it detects it's a normal map, you have to have the normal roughness hint. If it doesn't detect it as a normal map, you need to make sure that that hint is not there. Is that what you mean? Because what you said was very close to a tautology, and I'm like, Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. I'll remember that next time I do something in 3D. Okay, so we've got our rusted gear. So let's get these cards in the starter deck. Well, let's verify that things work. So this should still work. Yeah. But now if I bring up this, yeah, nothing happens. What it should do, I think, is it should highlight the characters who can take this equipment. That's what it should do. Crash. Invalid access to property or key card res on a base object or type. On tab pressed. Something is not being added to this correctly. Yeah, it's this. No, it's not that. Party characters dot set card res dot card name new sheet. Oh, you know what? I bet a bunch of my export variables died. And rusted boots, and rusted cuirass. Oh, maybe not. It looks like the Godot system can convert string to string name very easily. Let's double check though here. And Bard. No, it looks like this. It looks like this occurred. Knight.
Results are not guaranteed.
Let's try that again. We got our character. Crash. So this is not happening. The selected care is trying to... So we're saying on tab pressed, party tab. We're saying party characters. Are there other errors happening? No. Party tab. Dot card res. Dot card name. So for some reason, this is not being populated correctly on card drop. It should be right here. Card res is a hero card resource. It is. If not, party characters dot has this name. Well, the card res is not the type of key. Did I set up the dictionary wrong? That's probably what's happened here. Party characters, dictionary, string name, character sheet. No, that's very correct. Am I accessing it wrong? Party tab dot card res dot card name. Is that wrong? Do you not have a card res? Is maybe the thing about it. Yeah, you don't have a card res. Great. Okay. That's easy to fix. Well, we know it's a unit, don't we? Unit card resource. You could say unit resource. We also know this is a unit card resource. No, I think we do. No, it didn't. It turns out it didn't, LSG. It's important to not read the error logs, the error message. All right, this is fine now. The annoying thing is I can't offer this up and have the night card just appear. But what I need to do is I need to be able to like open this up by like bringing it over this and it will open. That's what I need. I have to decide how I'm going to do that. But with this part should still work. Nope, apparently not. Crash. If selected character. If card res. Card name. Well, obviously not that. Selected character dot card name. Character res. Yeah, it's not great. It's definitely like on a spectrum between like the uselessness of JavaScript and all your runtime errors and like the niceness of like something like C# where your errors are very obvious at compile time. GD script definitely leans slightly more towards the like dynamic thing. All right, I like this better. I probably need to bring the card up so that you can see a little bit more of the portrait. But I kind of want the card to hover up when you've moused over it. So that'll probably alleviate some of that. I should probably bring this back up for now, though. Until I've done that. So right now it's a little hard to see. Bring the cards up for now. They read much better now that I've gotten the icon out of the way. Obviously, the icon could have been on the right, but oh, this is look how mana screwed I am. And by mana, I mean unit. I'm unit screwed. I drew 6 equipment cards and no units. This is a reality of how this game is going to be. I think you're going to need to... I think in a bad situation where, like, you've started a fight, I think during the initial deployment, I'm going to need to allow the player to mulligan. Which basically means redrawing their hand, but with 1 less card. So you initially draw 6 cards. I would need to be able to mulligan down to 5. Here. Or I would need something else. This won't normally be a problem at the beginning of a series of combat encounters. Like when you first start a series of combat encounters, all your characters will exist on the roster and you'll just need to deploy them. But you could get to a point where you like only have 1 character left and you start the next combat encounter and you're like, oh god, I need another character, this guy's gonna die or something. I could see a situation where you'd want to mulligan down. Think about that. Yeah, static language. Static language would be nice. Yeah, it's definitely better than like JavaScript and Python. Okay, so this doesn't work. So we have a problem. We have a problem. Which is I can't guess. I used character suit. I used the card suit a lot to direct the UI so that it could tell, like, if you picked up a sword, it was a knight's sword. So you could be like, oh, this belongs to the knight card. We'll just highlight the main hand and bring up, and then you can just drop it there. But that's not a thing anymore. We can still use the slot. So if I've got the character open and I bring this over, it could just be like, oh, you've got a main hand slot. Let me bring the main hand slot up, and you can just throw this in there. I just need to rewrite it for that. We were leaning on the, we were leaning on that a lot. We need an alternative now. All right, we got about an hour until I gotta go. So this should be, we should be able to at least get most of the behavior back. So I need to rewrite the if card res is a unit card resource behavior here. We'll say if selected character and, well, no. So if this, and then here there needs to be a to-do of like, to-do compare equip slot with, compare equipment with roster characters, party characters. Compare equipment with characters to see who can use this and highlight. Compare with characters to see who are compatible. Highlight their tabs. I want to do that because then at least we can do a thing where it's like, I also want another thing, which is it's like, I want it to, if you hover over a roster tab, I want it to open that tab. Which right now, I think the playmat is consuming the input. Oh, no, it's not that. It's that the party mat is above the party tabs. So if I put the party mat below the party tabs, what would the behavior look like? Stupid thing. How is this error even triggered? We didn't even get to this branch. Oh no, we got to, we're doing the comparison, that's why. What, how, no, huh? I don't know. I'm not gonna question it. All right, so if we do this, I need to draw another night card, and then I do this, and then I do this. Oh, well, that doesn't help, because that, if we do this, okay, it still doesn't. Oh no. So yeah, the party mat, the play mat is eating the input. Play mat, mouse, pass. That's the problem. We'll have to figure out how to deal with that. That's okay. We can work around it for now. All right, so if the card resource is a unit card resource, So now we need to know about weapon types. So we actually need to distinguish weapon cards from armor cards. Not really, but I'm going to. We could just have an equip card type, but I kind of want to distinguish it to make it a little easier. Cuz now we're going to need weapon proficiencies. We're going to need weapon and armor proficiencies. So like the knight can wear heavy armor, but no one else is going to be able to do it. We'll probably just have metal, leather, cloth. And then maybe some qualifiers. For armor, at least. All right, create a new script. We will have a weapon card resource. It will inherit the equip card resource. Invalid inherited parent name or path. Oh, do I have to say equip card resource? Yeah. And similarly, we'll have an armor card resource. I don't know if it's worth it having such a distinction as this, but it helps a little. Do I need these resources to be tools? Yes. Enum type. None. Null. Cloth. Leather. Metal. What if you want to wear heavy armor? Oh, I mean, that's up to you. You could go to community college to get your heavy armor proficiency certificate. All right, come on, LSG. What happened to joining the February Next Fest with me? Or is that for Crypt? That's for Crypt ID, right? We're gonna have a type enum type. Null. Weapon types. What do we got? Let's look. What do we got? What are we talking about here? There's a bow. There's a crossbow. There's an arrow. Bow, crossbow, axe, arrow. At least this is mostly in alphabetical order. Mostly. Mostly. What are some other synonyms for potion? A draft, a file, a concoction, elixir. Elixir is nice. A brew. Maybe a poison. No, poison is its own thing. I'm trying to decide what to name this one, which is not the regular potion. This is like the plague doctors, like elixirs that they can make. Tincture. Serum. Filter. I like elixir. Cask? I think that looks right with what we've got here. We could call it a cocktail, like a Molotov cocktail, because it's meant to be thrown. So I'll probably go cocktail, because that's what like is in the common lexicon, is like it's a bottle of something that you're gonna throw at somebody. All right, let's go. Fishing rod is going to be in there for those excited about something like that. All right. Arrow. Axe. Bow. Crossbow. I could also call it X-bow. But I'll say crossbow. You even call this a longbow. I might call it a longbow. Flask ain't bad. Flask is not bad. Flask is not bad. Bomb is not bad either. Bomb is not bad either. The Alchemist's Brew. I wanna make sure that it's clear that you can't drink it. Which I know cocktails can be drank. But if we can come up with a word that's very clearly not something you're supposed to drink. I mean, I could call it poison, but the problem is poison is like a type of one of these. All right, let's go through the rest of the list and we'll come up with a name later. Axe, bow, crossbow, dagger, fiddle, fishing rod. Dagger, fiddle, fishing rod. Yeah, I don't know what to do with those. Bomb is good, because you obviously can't drink a bomb. I might just say bomb. said archaic. Archaic words or bomb. Not a petard, because that's not the right word. Most historical concepts of this are, ooh, a pot. Pot is good. Maybe like an exploding pot or something like that. Say like exploding pot or something. Explosive. Let's see if we have room. Let's do a quick room check. Explosive. I don't think we have room. We do not. Yeah, it might just need to be pot. So it would be like fire pot. I don't know. I don't know. We'll start with pot. Bottle bomb. Too long. I could say grenade. I might just say grenade. There are 2 lines. So the base thing can't be 1 line, or has to be 1 line. So it can be a grenade, and then I can say what kind of grenade it is. So I'm just gonna go with grenade and keep it simple. Yeah, grenade is fine. It doesn't really capture the bottle thing, but that'll just be obvious. I just wanted it to be very clear it's not something you should expect your character to be able to drink. That was important. Okay, so we've got a maul, a hammer, maul. I'll re-alphabetize these. Probably. Maybe not. Loot. Oh, so I don't necessarily want every single thing to be... Well, maybe I do. I kind of don't want different types for fiddles and lutes. I just want them to be instruments. I just want an instrument. I don't want the fiddle and the lute to be separate. Because I want it to be able to... I want you to be able to have an ability that's like... must be using an instrument or something like that. But maybe that's something else. We'll probably consolidate them a little bit. All right, Dry Jungle is back again. How's it going? What are we up to? It's so nice you streamed it twice. Strudel? Nice. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want a quote-unquote martial. We could do simple weapons and martial weapons and stuff like that. But I kind of want it to be a little more specific than that. Like, I want the paladin to be using, like, hammers and maces and stuff, not, like, axes and daggers. But it's hard to communicate. Hard to communicate that. If we do it like that. We'll have to decide. That's part of the reason we did the whole unit suit system, was to reduce the amount of cognitive load on the player to, like, figure out and decide, like, what weapons they can use. I don't even think we're going to use this whole indigo set. I think it's too close to the purple set for a lot of cases. Well, we'll see. Happy Friday to you as well, Dime Novel Hero. All right, let's just do it simple, and we can make more choices later. So we got rapier, spear, glaive. We said we called this a glaive. I still don't like the difference between the staff here. Actually, we're gonna call this like a crook or something. Maybe like crook, wand, staff. I don't know what to do about this. I could call this could be like a great club or something, but like how is that different from a crook? You know what I'm saying? I just really don't like this one. It's just, the way this is filled just rubs me the wrong way here. I like this better. I like this better. I don't like the aesthetic of this, so we might just not use it. Shillelagh. Maybe we do have room for the word shillelagh, but again, mechanically, I don't know. It would be a one-handed blunt instrument, I guess. It doesn't even look that much like a shillelagh to me, but maybe. Do we have room? We changed a bunch of stuff about the way we were organizing weapons in cards. We removed the concept of a suit. So we removed the little icons that were here of like the knight. So like each item would have like a character that was associated with it. We removed that concept. So we do have a lot more room. Shillelagh. Shillelagh is a hard word to spell. Shillelagh. We firmly have room for shillelagh. So I guess that's what it'll be. Glad I didn't use your spelling of shillelagh down level. It's a good name. It's a good name. Your laptop died midstream. Oh, okay, Dry Jungle. I was so confused about what was happening. All right. What are we doing? Oh, yeah, we're writing things out. Mace. Rapier. Spear. Glaive. Crook. I like the more natural feel of like a crook or a shillelagh or whatever. Maybe we do divide them by like simple or something. Maybe we find some kind of weapon proficiency thing. Because I don't like having this list of each item has its own thing. You feel like if the player wants a shadow wizard wielding a greatsword, they should be able to make the shadow wizard wield a greatsword. The problem is, if you go down that road, then there's really no reason to have one character or another. They all serve each role, like, generally equally well. I think I'm tempted of doing things like... I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to do things like... simple... martial... We could have rustic, I guess, if we want to capture some of the other stuff. I mean, you know, I said I didn't want the paladin to wield an axe or whatever, but it's like, I feel like you know that the paladin could. So I think we'll have like martial weapons for like the big boys. We could say simple melee, martial melee. We could say like simple ranged. Martial ranged. I don't want it to be on a per item basis. You're like, oh man, the wizard can wield a dagger but not a sword. It's like, we would probably call a sword a simple melee weapon, just so that like everyone could pretty much wield it. Same with daggers, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Improvised is cool. Improvised is something I would probably give to, like, the ranger, the bard, the thief, or rogue, whatever we call him. Improvised could be cool. Probably want to say melee, simple, or melee, martial. Simple. I kind of want instruments to be on here. Instrument. Oh, that's a delivery person. Hold on 1 second. Try to let them in. I don't know if they made it in, but they left. We got a new front door at my place a while ago, and it makes no sound when you let someone in. All that you might hear is the light click of the lock disengaging, and it's like, who got paid to design this whole box? And they were like, should we have a speaker in the box or like a bell or something? And they were like, nah, no one needs to know when the door has been opened. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. It's one of those things where it's like, it's really easy to overestimate the competency of the people making the decisions when they're building products. You're like, they're professional designers. Surely they know what they're doing. Most people don't know what they're doing most of the time. It's like the great secret of the professional world that I've learned. It's kind of remarkable. So we've got instrument, melee, martial, melee, simple. Let's have melee, improv. Actually, I might not call it simple. I might call it like basic. Just because I want it in like increasing order of complexity. It's like basic, improv, improvised, and martial. Because improvising a weapon actually involves quite a bit of skill, I think. I could say ranged, basic, ranged, improvised, ranged, martial. I think this is better. I really don't want to do like a per item weapon type deal. I want you to be assured that like everyone can equip basic weapons. Certain classes can utilize improvised weapons. And then certain classes can utilize martial weapons for a certain, like a knight can probably use martial ranged weapons, but I'm not going to let them use martial melee weapons, but I'm not going to let a knight use a ranged martial weapon. That's like the purview of the ranger or something. The only real question is, I don't know. I don't know if I love this. I might need to think about this more. But that's okay. We can do so. I could just make the rest of the item cards. What do we have? We have like 20, 30 minutes here. Let's just make some cards. I'm not going to solve this problem today. Probably have to do it tomorrow. The median person kind of sucks at their job, and half of us are worse than that. Yeah, exactly. In the words of Office Space, a lot of people are working just hard enough not to get fired. Which admittedly nowadays is a lot more work than it took, you know, back then. I feel it, LSG. A lot of people are in that position, especially now, the people who, you know, survived the layoffs. Well, let's just make our weapons then, huh? Let's make the starting set of weapons. We can decide. Oh, you know what we also need is we need magic weapons. So we also need magic in here. So we've got instrument, and then we'll have like magical. I don't know if we want magic melee. Magic wielding. Maybe we'll say magical and musical. Magical, musical. I'm gonna say basic, melee. I don't know if I want range or ranged. I'm gonna say ranged. Improvised melee, improvised ranged. Magical. We're gonna have martial, melee. All right, that's fine. I think this is fine for now. Seems fine for now. Martial musical, yeah. No, not quite. We'll see. Maybe in the future. And then what we need is we need an export variable of type, of weapon type. This might be proficiency and not type. Or like we need a damage type or something. We need more than just type. And we need to say like here, let's call it proficiency. So it requires a proficiency. Because there's also type. There's also weapon types, which are like should 0 for type be like pure damage? Like there's no distinction for it at all. And here for we can say none in case something requires literally no proficiency. I don't really want to use. Maybe we'll keep null. I don't know. Pure might be interesting. Just raw. Raw. I don't like using 0. I do not like using 0. So we'll keep it null. It's kind of amazing you got your you managed to trigger the raid with your laptop dead midstream. It might be useful to have pure damage. It's true. It's true. But I will make that its own type rather than being the null type, I think. So we'll probably use the full name for things because we have room. We have more room now than we used to. I liked stab, slash, and smash, but I think for the sake of clarity, we'll do blunt. So we'll do blunt, pierce, and slash. So that's the mundane. Then we might have generic magic damage or something. But we'll probably have all the elements. We'll have all the elements in there eventually, but I'm not going to write them out now. Not going to write them out now. Magic will be its own type of damage. So there will be a weapon proficiency, and there will be a variable which will be damage type. Okay, now we can look at our existing weapons. So we have like our chipped maul, which needs to become a weapon card resource. It has a blunt damage type, and its proficiency is martial melee. Shield. Shield will also have a blunt damage type. And its proficiency will be... I think a shield should also be martial, probably. Make sure I'm saving these resources as I go along here. Spear is piercing damage. Spear. Gonna be martial. I'm like, how do I address the ranger? I want the ranger to be able to use glaives and stuff and spears. And I think that's okay. I might come up with more proficiency distinctions than this, but we'll just go with this for now. We'll just go with this for now. I know I made the argument that I didn't want to do this because I didn't want it to be too good for you to just be like, all right, here's my party. We're rolling out. We're only guys that wear heavy armor and use martial melee weapons. And that way, I only need to level up certain weapon types. And I was like, I don't really want that. And then I realized as long as the game appropriately punishes you for not being flexible, for like not having a wide array of answers, then that's okay. And roguelike deck builders are about building your deck towards certain synergies. And that's one of the only synergies that exist in this game is, oh, I've got this item. It's going to be really good with this character. Or it's going to be really good with multiple characters. Yeah, Ranger's an all-rounder. And the thing is, I want Rangers to have a high damage output. The Ranger's weakness is on defense. Because they don't have the heavy armor of like a knight or whatever. So they're going to have a harder time. So they can deal the damage, but it's going to be much more situational about where you're putting them. And keeping them away from that problem. Oh man, it's almost time to go. I need to message someone real quick. We're using the Aragorn style Ranger. Yeah, exactly. Squishy Knight. Squishy Knight is right. All right, and then for armor, we have a type. We have an armor type. An armor type could have a resistance to something. I think it's weird to call this a proficiency, but I think we are going to. So it's really, are you proficient with cloth, leather? I could call this heavy, but I'm going to call it metal. Export variable, armor proficiency. It's a prof. And then there's also going to be a variable of an armor. Is there an armor type, though? Is there an armor type? Not really. There might be an armor resistance. But let's not worry about that right now. Because eventually you'll be able to get, like, fire gear and, you know, like, whatever. You'll be able to get gear that's resistant to certain types of damage, and that'll be a lot of the decision making too, is like preparing for the areas that you're going to be going through, making sure you have a good variety of stuff. Because if you encounter a red dragon and you have no fire resist gear, that's probably GG, right? That should probably be GG. Especially if your best weapons are like fire weapons, because you've been like, oh man, the fire weapons really kicked the ass of the grass type Pokemon we just killed. Let me level that bad boy up. So we'll just start with armor proficiency for now. So we'll remake the armor. Did I finish doing the weapons? I think I did. No, I didn't. Slash. I'm going to make a sword a basic melee weapon. I feel like that's slightly controversial, but I think generally everyone should be able to carry a sword. Except for maybe hobbitses. But I don't plan on having hobbitses. Like, metal is resistant to slash but weak to lightning. I don't know if I want to get into that for mundane equipment. I don't think I want to get into that with mundane equipment. I think that'll only matter for, like, magic items. Like, higher level gear. Because that's reflective in our sprites, right? Like, our sprites, we have colored versions for different damage types. That's also reflected in our armor. Right? So it'll be what I can do here. And the neat thing is I have the gray versions. So you can show that there's the heavy version of it, as well as a lighter version of it. I might not always maintain that description, that distinction, but I might do it. Just so you can tell the heavy armor. Some of it means we might not use everything, like this is pretty useless. So that might not be always what we do. Like maybe this is like a heavy armor that's like weak fire. And then maybe this could be like heavy armor that's like strong in fire. I haven't decided. I haven't decided how I want to address this. I might do both. I might use this for the patched version or whatever. And then I might use these versions for the heavy because it's reflective of these. There's like a visual consistency between these two sets. Although it's a little confusing based on the choices they made. I might remake these choices. I might redo the colors here a little bit. Just to have it be consistent. But I understand why they chose what they chose. I'll have to think about it. Be neat if equipment enchantments always come with a drawback. I mean, choosing an elemental spec is itself a double-edged decision, right? Because you're like, oh, my fire damage is going to be good against everyone that's weak to fire. It's like, yeah, but what about the things that are immune to fire damage? It's like, well, shit. Yeah, there's a lot of elementals. All right, I have to see how quickly I have to leave here. Give me a second. We are going to be wrapping it up soon. I just got to see if I can finish this bit of work here or not. Tried to open Lyft and I opened DoorDash instead. Hey, Nix. You'd be surprised. What's this place called? I remember. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to dox myself. Hope everyone has a... So again, as a reminder, just stream reminder stuff. There is no stream tomorrow. I have my monthly Godot meetup. So I'm hopefully going to wrap up a lot of this UI stuff there. Because I would love to work on something else. Okay, I got plenty of time. That's good. You're going to go visit family. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I was talking to my parents the other day, and I was like, hey, what are we going to do for Father's Day? And they're like, well, we have plans. We're going down and doing this. And I'm like, okay. Have fun. But no, it's good. We'll connect later. They just got back from a big trip. They're in their going on trips all the time phase of life, which I can't wait till I get to that point in my life. Assuming, the world hasn't ended when I'm their age, by the time I'm their age. Who's going to pick up the stream slack? I don't know. Oh, LSG, you're also busy tomorrow? Oh, great. Yeah, normally I think if I miss a stream, I'm going to try to reschedule it. But since I'm going to be doing Godot stuff all day anyway, I think it counts. So we're not rescheduling, so there's not going to be any streams this weekend. We'll just come back on Tuesday, and I'm really hoping when we come back on Tuesday, it's time to delve into the turn-based battle map. I'm excited to get the characters on the board, moving around, doing attacks, and most importantly, dying. Because right now the biggest missing element from the card game stuff is killing the characters and then discarding their character sheets back into the deck as like the component cards. And I need to see how that's going to work. But yeah, I'm excited. No, I don't think I'm one of those IRL streamers, Arneo, where I'm going to go live from my phone. I don't see that being a part of my life. There may be some exceptions if I end up going to like a PAX or something, and it would be kind of fun to like stream from the booth, but that seems like a really bad idea, so I'm probably never going to do anything like that. But you know, it's nice to dream. It's nice to dream. But anyway, happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday. I hope everyone has a nice long weekend, and we will reconvene on Tuesday for week 4 of Party Wipe. Hey, Remus. Take it easy. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.